So the first thing I want to talk about is Miguel Cotto's jab. I believe the jab is the best weapon in Cotto's arsenal, and while many would say the left hook is his best weapon, Cotto would often utilize his jab very effectively in situations where he can't throw his left hook. Of course, the jab is used to set up power shots, and Cotto would use this jab to work his way into range to land his devastating left hook. The important thing to know is that Miguel Cotto is naturally left-handed, so his jab and lead hook were from his dominant hand, making them much heavier punches.
Mayweather landing back, but Cotto is the one who's putting hard weapons on his Houston. It's been dead serious, start to finish it seems.
Santiago, and in Claudio's corner,
If we take a look at Miguel Cotto's jab technique, we first notice that the twisting of the hips creates the torque needed to generate power on the jab. The step in with the lead foot also creates additional power and also increases the range of the jab. Even if he is already in range to land the jab, the step allows him to follow through the target to create that additional power. Defensively, we see that the shoulder is raised high to protect his chin on the exposed side, and his right hand is simultaneously parrying to pick off a counter jab. This parry leaves him open for a counter hook, but the most common counter to his jab is another jab at the same time. And this powerful step jab sends Joshua Clottey crashing down. We see that as Cotto parries with his rear hand to protect himself from the jab, he does leave himself open for the left hook, but Clottey's ineffective with it.
Emmanuel.
Definitely Miguel Cotto has a technical.
Emmanuel.
Definitely Miguel Cotto has a technical.
The jab to the body is one of the most useful punches any fighter could have. This serves to slowly break down your opponent by punching the air out of them, and it also breaks their rhythm. This is an effective tool to slow down an aggressive pressure fighter. As you can see, Cotto steps in with his lead foot to get into range to land the jab, but also this step serves to lower himself to the level of Margarito's solar plexus, which is the target. By lowering his level, Cotto shoots the punch in a straight line as opposed to punching downward and leaving himself open to get encountered. His head naturally lowers down as well, which will allow him to avoid a counter if Margarito jabs with him. Mixing up your jab from body to head will leave your opponent confused on whether you're going to shoot the jab high or low, and as you see here, Margarito lowers his guard as he sees Cotto level change. He lowers his guard down to protect his body. And there you see Cotto does a rising jab, mixes it up and catches Margarito up high when he was expecting him to go down low. Very nice mix up. And while I believe the jab is Cotto's most useful weapon, I also believe it highlights one of his biggest weaknesses, which is the fact that he almost never moves his head off the line while he punches. As sharp and as heavy as Cotto's jab is, his head almost always stays in the same place as he fires it. This makes him a susceptible target to being countered if his opponents get a read on his timing and punch with him. All of his power is then returned right back to him since he's stepping into the counter. It took Manny Pacquiao all of 15 seconds to take one of his jabs, get a feel for his timing, and completely neutralize this jab with his own straight left hand. The problem of not moving his head off the line is exacerbated by the fact that Cotto also lacks the ability to feint and probe his jab to change his timing and throw his opponents off.
Big, powerful guy.
The fight on points, but I think he would
by Manny Pacquiao.
offer much in return in the last couple of rounds.
No, it turned into survival.
Cotto also found himself countered by another southpaw in Zab Judah, who stood just outside of Cotto's step jab range and countered with an uppercut right after Cotto shoots his step jab without changing his head slot.
And he's going to have to be a little careful with that right now, particularly while Zab the shot. See there?
And he gets caught with a big left hand counter punch shot.
Reputation of imploding.
There it is again. There it is again.
However, the main objective of Cotto's jab was to get him into the pocket safely so he could set up his combinations and his big money punch, the left hook. Cotto in his prime was an aggressive boxer puncher who pressed his opponents with his heavy dominant hand jab to the ropes where he could tee off on them. as we see Cotto starts the combination with the jab to occupy his guard, right hand on the one side and then left hook to the body. As you see, the jab pushes Torres to the ropes, and it also occupies his guard as he shoots this combination. The right hand sets up the power left hook by winding the left hook up, but it also occupies Torres' guard to make him block the right hand, which leaves him open for the left hook. So right after this, we're going to see Cotto is going to throw the same exact combination again. So you're going to see a jab to keep him on the ropes, then right hook to the body. As you see, he also takes a step while he's doing this combination, and this step to the center point between Torres' feet gives Cotto a better angle to land hooks with better leverage. And as you see, when he does this, he shoots the right hook, which is not there to do damage. It does do damage, but the point of it is to set up his left hand. As you see, when you throw hooks, if you throw a right hook, it naturally winds you up for your left hook. So it makes his left hook more powerful, which is the whole point of this. There we're going to see Cotto shoot the left hook as Torres is trying to block the left side of his body. Cotto's right hook makes Torres want to block the left side of his body, and Cotto's left hook makes him want to block the right side of his body. So Torres is confused on which side of his body he should protect. Because Cotto is in the pocket shooting hooks from both sides, it's very difficult for him to block all these shots, as you see Cotto tees off on him in the corner. So we see here Cotto steps in slightly and over to his left, along with his jab, to put him in a position to fire off hooks while his opponent is close to the corner. However, we see that Cotto's hook is blocked by his opponent's arm. So what is Cotto gonna do now? Having noticed his opponent is squared up to protect himself, Cotto steps his left foot all the way over to square himself up in relation to his opponent, making it ideal to trade hooks. However, Cotto sees his opponent is shelled up, so he knows this will favor him. He knows that since his opponent is shelled up, he's not looking to shoot shots, he's looking to just defend himself. And there you see Cotto land the big left hook on the opening while they're squared up. So once again, we're going to see him do the same combination a couple more times. The jab, right hook, and then left hook to the body. And what's good about the left hook to the body is that it opens up the left hook to the head. And we're going to see one more time, he's going to do the same combination, jab, right hook to the body, and the left hook. And if his opponent does a good job of blocking the hooks, then the jab opens up again. Since Cotto's opponents came in prepared for the big left hook, Cotto would have to find ways to deceive his opponents first in order to land it. So we're going to take a look at a few ways that Cotto snuck in his left hook.
Well on his feet, lands him.
So we see here that Daniel Gill probes at Miguel Cotto, and Cotto responds by level changing and firing a punch. The key to this is that his hand starts down low to make the start of this punch look like a hook to the body. And as you know, Daniel Gill is probably prepared for the hook to the body. And as you see, the level change further sells that this would be a body hook. However, Cotto changes the arc of his punch midway to Gill's head and lands flush. As you can see, Gill lowers his guard to protect his body when he sees Cotto level change and start his wind up low. This is just a bait from Cotto that deceives Gill and misdirects him to think the punch is going to the body.
Right at him.
And he hit him again with a left.
Against southpaws, the conventional strategy is to get lead foot dominance by stepping to the outside of your opponent's lead foot. Less common but equally useful is stepping to the inside of the lead foot or to the inside angle to line up a jab up the middle. And Cotto would do this. He would actually take the inside angle to make it look like a jab is coming, but then he would loop his left hook around the blind side and catch his opponents off guard, and they would never see the punch coming. And we see from the inside angle of the hook, catches Sergio Martinez off guard, never saw the punch coming. And once again, Cotto takes the inside angle, loops the hook around the blind side. Really hurts Martinez because Martinez never saw the punch coming.
Right at him.
And he hit him again with a left.
And the last thing we're going to talk about is how Miguel Cotto uses his pressure to walk his opponents into his big left hand. And so an effective pressure fighter doesn't only land punches by getting into good position. Good fighters won't always allow you to get into position on them, so it's important to be able to walk your opponents into position for you to hit them. In other words, you need to be able to walk them into a trap so you can hit them. Let's see how Miguel Cotto does that with his left hook. We see as Cotto pressures Delvin Rodriguez, you see Rodriguez slowly get closer and closer to the corner, and Rodriguez has to go either left or right to escape the corner at this point. Cotto wants to get into position to land a big left hook, but that will allow Rodriguez to escape out the opposite direction. So what was Cotto going to do? Knowing that Rodriguez wants to escape out away from Cotto's left hook, Cotto bounces to his right, opening an escape route for Rodriguez. However, this is a trap because Rodriguez would be walking right into Cotto's left hook if he were to take this escape option. So he either has to stay in the corner and face Cotto in the corner, or he's going to take this escape route and risk walking into the left hook. And as you see, Rodriguez takes the bait, steps out to his right, and Cotto steps in immediately and punishes him for it with a quick left hook. And here we see Cotto pressuring Rodriguez again along the ropes. So we see Cotto pressures Rodriguez, but has the escape option to his right side always blocked off, as you see his slightly over on the right side so that Rodriguez cannot escape in that direction. This forces Rodriguez to move towards Cotto's left hook at all times. Cotto doesn't over pursue Rodriguez and let him switch directions to escape out his right side, because Cotto knows that if he keeps circling this direction, then Rodriguez is eventually going to end up in the corner. And Cotto pressures Rodriguez long enough to get him to stay still on the ropes where he could set up a big left hook. And this big left hook finishes him off, makes him crash down to the floor, and Cotto leaves him there to get the referee's balls in his face. And that's going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for watching.